Hello, we're back. So we're going to do the middle section for this equation. Use the quadratic formula to find where the bridge hits the water. Explain any observations you have. So we've got to use the g of x equation, x minus 1 squared. So we have to expand it. X minus 1 times x minus 1 is equal to FOIL. So x times x is x squared, x times negative 1 is negative 1x, negative 1 times x is negative 1x, and negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. Y equals x squared minus 2x plus 1. Compare it to y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So a is 1 there, b is 2, actually negative 2, and c is 1. So a is 1, b is negative 2, and c is 1. So we're subbing all those values into x equals minus b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac times 2a. Okay, so x is equal to minus a negative 2, so it's a double negative, plus or minus square root of negative 2. Okay, negative 2, the negative is squared, and so is the 2. Minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is 1 as well. Divided by 2 times a, which is 2 times 1. So we've got x is equal to, double negative is becoming a positive, 2 plus or minus, negative 2 squared is 4, minus 4 times 1 times 1. These are all being multiplied. Multiplication, right? So 4 times 1, right, is 4. So minus 4 divided by 2. So x equals 2 plus or minus the square root of 0 over 2. Now, the square root of 0, we all know. The square root of 0 is 0, right? So that means that I am saying that x is equal to 2 plus 0 over 2, okay? But it's also meaning that x is equal to 2 minus the square root of 0, which is 0 over 2. Well, they're identical. Whether I add 0 to get an overall answer of 1, or I subtract 0, I still get an answer of 1. So these are the same, okay? So this is where the bridge hits the water. Is at x equals 1, okay? Because the discriminant, which is the number under the square root, okay? Okay, the discriminant, which is the number under the square root, was 0. Okay, you got one root. Why? Because the 0 was underneath the square root. Anytime that's happening, right, the 0 is underneath the square root, you're going to get one root. Okay, so let's see what happens here in the discriminant in this case. Okay, so h of x is equal to x plus 3 squared minus 1. Y is equal to x plus 3 times x plus 3 minus 1. You do FOIL again, because two brackets containing two terms each. So you get x times x is x squared, x times 3 is 3x, 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times 3 is 9, minus 1 is y equals, collect like terms. So you get x squared plus 6x plus 8, compare it to y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, where you're going to sub in an a value of 1, a b value of 6, and a c value of 8 over here into x equals minus b plus or minus the b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Okay, so x is equal to minus the b value is 6. So minus times a positive 6 is a minus overall, plus or minus the square root of b squared, in this case it's 6 squared, minus 4, which is a times a, which is 1, and c, which is 8. All divided by 2 times a, which is 1. Okay, so x is equal to negative 6 plus or minus square root of 36, and then this is all, right here, it's all being multiplied, right? So it's 4 that's negative times 1, 4 which is negative, times the 1 times the 8, okay, minus 32. Make sure you can still see this. Just helping me keep track of my time here. Okay, so there we go. All right, all divided by 2, and then x is equal to negative 6 plus or minus 36 minus 32 is 4 over 2. So I can add, okay, negative 6 plus the square root of 4 is 2, divided by 2. I have to simplify the numerator first, so x is equal to negative 4 divided by 2, which is negative 2, okay? Or I could subtract what's underneath, or which is the value of the square root, so I can go x equals minus 6 minus the square root of 4, which is 2, divided by 2. Notice that the same numbers, right? You can still see that? Okay. To simplify here, top number is simplified, then I divide, x is equal to negative 4. So these are where the bridge hits the axis, which is where we said that's negative 2, and that is negative 4. Okay? Now, so bridge crosses or hits the water at x equals negative 2 and x equals negative 4. Okay, that's twice, that's 2 times, since the square root number, the number underneath the square root, is positive. Okay, so why did we have 2 locations where the bridge crosses the water? Is because the discriminant there was greater than 0, as opposed to when it is exactly 0, it only crosses the water or the x-axis once, where the discriminant, which is the number underneath the root sign, when it's negative, the bridge does not even cross the x-axis at all. So flipping over, state the value of the discriminant where d is equal to b squared minus 4ac for each model. How does knowing the value of the discriminant help you determine the number of x-intercepts or number of times that the bridge touches the water? Well, in f at x, we had the values of x squared minus 4x plus 5. X squared minus 4x plus 5. Okay, that was what we expanded to. Right? So we said that A was 1, B was negative 4, and C was 5. So the D discriminant is B squared, which is negative 4 squared, minus 4 times A, which is 1, times C, which is 5. So D was 16 minus, we multiplied these out to get 20, so D was negative 4. Okay, so since D is negative, therefore there are no roots, so bridge doesn't touch the water. Okay? When we expanded the g of x, we had x squared minus 2x plus 1, x squared minus 2x plus 1, that's expanded. Okay, so y was equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. If we're subbing them in, right, so a was 1, b was negative 2, c was 1. So in discriminant, okay, so b is negative 2, it's got a square, times 4, which is 1, times c, which is 1. So 4 minus negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. It was exactly 0. So since d equals exactly 0, therefore there is one x-intercept, and the bridge crosses the, or cuts, or touches, crosses or touches the water once. Okay? All right. And then this one, where h of x was x squared plus 6x plus 8, x squared plus 6x plus 8, that was expanded. Okay, so we knew that ax squared plus bx plus c was needed for the a value of 1, b was 6, and c was 8. We sub that into the discriminant of b squared minus 4ac. So d became b squared, which was 6 squared, minus 4 times a, which was 1, times c, which was 8. So d was 36, and then these multiplied together, we said were already 32, and d was 4. So since d is positive, right, it's a positive number, right? Therefore, there are 2 roots, and the bridge crosses or touches the water twice. 2 roots, touches twice. 1 root, touches once. Negative d value, doesn't touch at all.